make the mouth, I used a technique I learned from Ellimacs here on YouTube called the latex paste. Basically what you do is you mix latex and flour in a bowl until you have a paste-like consistency. On a tile I bought at a hardware store, I made a couple marks using a sharpie to show me how big I wanted to make the mouth. If you have a face cast, I would definitely recommend sculpting the mouth on that for a more precise prosthetic. I spread the latex paste onto the tile using a popsicle stick, and I dip my finger in latex to smooth out the paste and give me thinner edges. I made the teeth out of polymorph plastic, but you can also make them out of air drying clay if that's what you have. Again, I learned this technique from Ellimacs. While the paste was still wet, I stuck the teeth into it and left them there to dry. Once the prosthetic was completely dry, I hot glued the teeth into place to make sure they wouldn't fall out. I colored the teeth with red and yellow food coloring, then patted the teeth with a baby wipe to give a stained effect. At the base of the teeth, I went in with some brown and black alcohol activated paints, focusing the black in the gum sockets. Off camera, I used some more alcohol activated paints to color match the prosthetic to my skin. Before I glued the prosthetic to my face, I had to figure out where I wanted to place it. I knew I wanted to be able to still open my mouth with this prosthetic on, so I lined it up with my bottom and top lip. To apply the prosthetic, I'm using Prosaide. You can also use spirit gum since it is easier to find, but spirit gum tends to irritate my really sensitive skin. I applied the Prosaide on the back of the prosthetic and onto my face to really make sure that the prosthetic is going to stay in place. Once the Prosaide was mostly clear, I carefully stuck the prosthetic on, starting in the center, then working my way out towards the edges. I followed the same steps for the upper mouth, however, I would recommend gluing the upper mouth on first because it'll make it a lot easier to line up the teeth. I wanted to make sure that there was definition where the mouth opened, so I took a black cream paint and painted the inside lining of the prosthetic. To conceal the edges, I used good old latex and tissue paper. I first laid down some latex on the edges, then put a thin piece of tissue down and covered it with latex. While I was waiting for the latex to dry, I went over my skin where the prosthetic wasn't with a pale foundation shade. To give a more sickly appearance, I applied a thin wash of the Olive Adjuster shade from my Zombie palette over my skin as well. Once the latex was dry, I colored it with a brown alcohol paint, then a skin tone color. Adding a brown layer first gives a more realistic skin tone appearance rather than just applying the skin tone color. If you are pale like me, you might have to add a couple layers of that skin tone shade to really blend the color into your actual skin. I decided to give the mouth a more bruised appearance, So I went over the entire prosthetic and a little bit on my actual skin with the Bruise Tone, Ultra Blue, Olive Adjuster, and Prime Yellow shades from my Zombie palette. Then I did a layer of that skin tone shade to make the colors appear underneath the skin. The last step is optional, but I decided to add some blood to the ends of the teeth to give a more gory appearance.